Hello everyone, CDNet here with another update from the Avalanche ecosystem. It's been a long time since we've talked about Penguin, but the very first time we ever talked about Penguin Finance was when they only just went live and they only had the bare smart contracts, and we did a smart contract introduction video. If you were there for that one, congratulations, I think you can officially call yourself an Avalanche OG. But of course, since that time, Penguin Finance has grown a lot, and it's not just the bare smart contracts anymore, but now there's actually a website, there's a lot more apps. So the Penguin Finance team kindly asked me to make an updated intro too, and I think that's a great idea. They also committed to a donation to the channel, which of course is very much appreciated, but as a result of that, the sponsor flag is up. Of course, this video is not really investment advice, it's just to educate you on what Penguin Finance is and how you can interact with it. So let's get started. Starting on the refreshed home screen, you can immediately get a bunch of information, such as the price of PFI in the top left corner, as well as how many PFI are within one IPFI. You can also see and harvest all your rewards and go directly to Nest, all of which of course we will explain later. There's a bunch of useful links to the Igloos and the Nests. There's also some useful stats and a link to the roadmap. At the top of the screen within the tabs, you can click buy PFI and you can go to one of the exchanges that PFI is traded on to buy your first PFI and get started. So the Igloos, which you can find under the farm tab, are one of the two apps that Penguin launched with, and of course I think this one is fairly self-explanatory to most people because this is a yield farm. You can farm a variety of different pairs from a variety of exchanges. What's really cool about Penguin's version of yield farming is that it can yield multiple rewards. So what you normally do, right, is you take a liquidity pool token, say for example from Trader Joe or Pangolin, and you deposit that into the yield farm, and then instead of depositing it in Penguin, which you would get PGL for, or in Joe, which you would get Joe for, you would just get the yield farm's token. However, within Penguin Finance you actually get both. So if we take a look at the ETH AVAX pairs, which are on top here, you can see that for the Trader Joe version you actually get PFI, IPFI and Joe tokens. And for the ETH AVAX pair, you actually get PFI, IPFI, and PNG tokens. Now, on top of that, other apps, of course, like Joe, are having an Avalanche Rush incentive going on, so they're also generating AVAX. So for the Joe AVAX pool within Joe Rush, for example, you can get PFI, IPFI, Joe, and AVAX tokens, all from within the Penguin Finance app. So it's definitely worth checking out. As you can see, the API is really good. I'm not sure what the API is on Joe itself. If we go by the API listed here, then the normal API is slightly below 70, and within Penguin Finance it's 113.5%. Now I just wanted to open up a pair that I'm actually in to show you a little bit more. So as you can see, I'm in the Snap PFI PGL pool. Actually I started this with like 200 and currently it's 400. So that's working out really well. As you can see on the bottom right here, you can also indicate how much of your reward you want in IPFI and how much of your reward you want in PFI. In my case, I've set it to 100% IPFI, which means basically that my PFI will immediately be staked within the Penguin Finance app. But if you want to do something else, for example 50-50, you can just adjust the slider and press modify, simple transaction, and then from now on, all your rewards will be split in half. Of course, we saw on the home screen that there is a big harvest button, but you can also individually harvest your pair here. Next, under the stake tab is the Penguin Nests. The Nests are one of my personal favorite apps within Penguin Finance. I'm a little bit risk averse, so I really like staking. If you stake your PFI in the Nest, you get IPFI, and basically your IPFI can always be redeemed for more PFI than you put into it. That's because PFI tokens are continuously added to the Nest as a result of platform fees, for example, which means your share of those tokens also continuously grows. It's also important to know that IPFI is required for a number of apps within the Penguin Finance ecosystem. So for example, if you want to participate in Penguin Emperor, the Launchpad, or Club Penguin, you actually need to use IPFI rather than PFI. Finally, it's also quite important to note that there is a 6% pay per hand penalty. So if you want to unstake your IPFI back into PFI, you pay a 6% penalty, which will be paid out to all the other users who remain in the nests. We briefly mentioned it, but Club Penguin is the latest addition to the Penguin Finance ecosystem. Basically, I see Club Penguin as a reward mechanism for strong IPFI holders. What it allows you to do is your IPFI, which remember are staked PFI, to stake those again to earn tokens from partners. So for example, the ones coming up are BooFi, which of course launched by the Launchpad, more on that later, PNG and AVAX itself. Previous icebergs have been Verso and Sherpa. For partner projects, Club Penguin represents an opportunity to distribute your tokens to a engaged community that, has a bit of a habit of holding, because basically you have to double stake your tokens to participate in it and immediately get a little bit of exposure. And as a user, it's just free tokens on top of what you already earn through IP5. Next up is the Penguin Emperor app, which of course we did a separate video on a while back. It has a really cool tune playing, but I always record with desktop audio off, just in case. But if you want to listen to it, just go to the app, turn on your headphones and enjoy. Now, like I said, we've done a more in-depth video, but the basic idea is very simple. When there is a Penguin Emperor round active, what you have to do is you have to register first. Pick yourself a nickname, a color and a style. Now there's actually different varieties of Penguin Emperor, so it's not just always the exact same game. But the rules in general are you need to spend the most time as the Penguin Emperor on the throne, and in order to do so you must bid the most IP5. Once you've bid the most IP5, you are the king of the hill, if you will, and a timer starts running counting how long you've been able to hold it. At the end of the game, whoever spent the most time on the throne wins the jackpot. Whichever amount people bid with to become Emperor, 2% will be added to the jackpot and 1% will be added to the nest as a reward. So even if you lose your throne, you still get back 97% of your IP5. Now, one other game that the Penguin Finance team is working on is the Penguin Arena. It's not yet ready. It's waiting for the Chainlink verifiable random function, if you will. What it does have is this really cool video playing in the background. But what it will be essentially is a collection of mini games that you can play as a team or solo. And it will also be integrating NFTs to give you advantages and everything. All in all, it's not something I've already seen implemented somewhere else, especially with the NFT element added to it as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. Like I said, not yet live. I think Chainlink VRF is scheduled for Q1 2022, if I remember correctly. So we may have to wait a little while, but there's definitely something to look forward to here. Then we have to talk about the Launchpad. Of course, the concept of Launchpad will be fairly familiar to most people. But what's quite cool is that in order to participate in the Penguin Finance Launchpad, again, what you need is IP5. What you had to do to participate in the Boo Finance sale is you had to stake some IP5, and then basically the amount of IP5 you staked guaranteed you an allocation. And depending on how much IP5 you staked, you got into different tiers, and the tiers that you unlocked gave you a free bonus NFT on top. You can find those NFTs in the Collectibles tab. As you can see with this wallet, I participated in the Boo Finance sale. So I have the Ghoul collectible NFT. The Ghoul is the lower tier, but if we scroll down, we can see that there was also a Reaper and a Demon Lord for those who had enough IP5 to stake. There's also an NFT series for the Sherpa cash sale and for Penguins Without Borders. Back in, I think, May or so, when India was suffering a huge COVID crisis, the Avalanche ecosystem came together partly under leadership of Penguin Finance to collect funds to send as a donation to support the effort there. The other collectible launched by the Penguin Finance team is of course Crypto Puffies. Crypto Puffies are a set of 10,000 different NFTs with different characteristics, and they will be useful in the Penguin Finance's Igloos and in the Arena. Crypto Puffies has a separate Twitter account, so if you want to follow them, the link will also be in the description. Last but not least, 2.5 million worth of AVAX will be available as rewards in the Penguin Emperor app and in the Igloos as a result of Penguin Finance taking part in the Avalanche Rush program. But that's already all you need to know for an introduction to Penguin Finance. Do keep your eye on them though, because they changed their app a lot. They develop very quickly. As I said, if you look at the roadmap, we have the Crypto Puffies, which is an NFT series which does look quite cute. We have the Penguin vs Joe Emperor game, Arena coming up, like I said, and Make Igloos Not War. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out on the comments or reach out to the Penguin Finance team on their Discord, Twitter or Telegram. I will leave those links in the description as well. If you want to learn more on your own or just need to sit down and read it carefully, you can always go to Learn More, press the language that you read, which will open up their documents in which you can read about all their apps separately as well. Also keep your eye on this channel because we'll likely do an interview with the founders of Penguin Finance as well, which will lead to even more insights and perhaps a few alpha leaks as well. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one, and goodbye.